I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Thursday, October the 22nd, brought to you in part by Real Max Herd Health Programs. Winter feed costs eat ranchers alive. Take control and reduce your input costs this winter with low consumption Real Max. For more information, go to realmax.net. Cash feeders crumble. I tell you what, the market on these calves especially, but all classes of feeder cattle and calves just continue to tumble. We saw several market reports out of some big high volume sales middle of the week here that says that demand for calves, especially the unweaned types, was light, extremely light, or almost no interest. That's very troubling there. But I tell you what, they just keep going down, 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 and I've said it several times. You get in these bigger auctions, and even your small regional auctions are having big sales that last way up into the night this time of year because there's so many spring calvers that have calves to sell right now, and they're bringing them in. It takes a lot of sexing and sizing to sell those cattle. They come in small groups and with a lot of them unweaned. No shots. There's just very, very limited holes to put those cattle in. Your buyers pretty much run out of orders with the reputation cattle that are weaned and have shots and everything. And by the time they get to those high risk calves, there's just no place to put them, guys. And it's just really sucking our market down big time. And now we're starting to hear stories about rumors, probably more than anything, that our grain supplies are running short globally. That's a little bit hard to believe, but I tell you what, South America has been in a drought about as bad as the plains of the North America here. But it's been really bad, and if these feed costs continue to go up, we're just going to see it continue to tumble, guys, and there's no way of stopping it. Your cattle on feed report comes out this Friday, and it's a little bit scary too, guys. We know that there are huge numbers of cattle on feed. I would feel a little bit more comfortable if your inventories for October 1 were even larger than what the analysts have those pegged at. And they've got them pegged quite a bit higher, but I mean, we've got tails sticking out the fence line on these feedlots, and I would feel more comfortable if they had it pegged even higher. That way, when the actuals come out, they might be a little bit lower, and we could get a little boost out of it. But didn't get them all that high compared to what a year ago was. But October 1st inventories, your average of the analyst guess is 103.2, and you're thinking, well, that's pretty big. But as dry as it is, no place to put any cattle. The 6-weight calves that a lot of times would have went back out to graze somewhere, they've had to go into a lot somewhere, and if they're in those bigger lots, over 1,000 head capacity, they're going to be counted, and it would not surprise me to see those numbers even larger than that. Your placements in September, 102.4. I would feel more comfortable if they had the average of the analyst guess even higher than that, which would give us something to shoot for. But we're running on a slim margin there. It's going to be hard to see any bullishness out of this report. Now, your marketings for September, they've got those jacked way up there, so that's going to be even hard to reach on the plus side there. But they've got your marketings for September at 105.8, and it's great that they're getting zeroed in on a lot of these things, but it leaves very little room to have anything but a negative cattle on feed report, which we don't need right now as much as we got pressuring these feeder cattle. Let's look at the board on Wednesday. October live cattle futures down 47 cents at 103.65. December down 87 at 104.57. You go on out front from there, and they were from down 57 to up 30, but very little pluses in there to really brag about or look at for any kind of optimism at all. October feeder cattle down 10 cents at 134.40. November up 37 cents at 131.15. Going out from there, and they were similar to what your fats were, from down 45 cents to up 37. I mentioned your grains earlier. December corn up 5 cents per bushel at 4.13 3/4. I tell you what, they're really getting up there. And beans for November up 8 cents on Wednesday at 10.72 a bushel. Fat cattle continued to trade. We've seen trade every day this week, and it just continues to get a little bit lower and a little bit lower all the time. And the guys that were really bragging about getting a basis back in line, well, they've already lost that now because we're starting to trade cattle even lower than the lower futures, which is really troubling. But Iowa, 2,800 head there, sold fat cattle live from 102 to 103. You know, we've got October live cattle at 103.65. But your dress sales 163 to 164. Nebraska, 10,300 head confirmed on Wednesday there from 103 to 105. And dress sales from 162 to 165. We're pushing some of these markets now $3 to $5 lower than last week, and we were almost apologetic about gaining $2 a week on the Packers whenever things were good just a couple of weeks ago, you know, 2 to 4 or 5 weeks ago, getting $2 at a time, and your feedlot guys were almost apologetic about that. Now they're taking it back in hunks, you know, as much as $5 lower. Kansas, 2,000 head, 104 to mostly 106, and Texas just about 800 head from 106 to 106 and a half. Box beef cutout values, they were lower, so you know, your packer margins would be tightening if they weren't buying fat cattle cheaper. But choice cuts 208.47, down $2.13. Select 190.91, down 76 cents. Your slaughter, it's keeping a pretty good pace here, and why wouldn't they? 360,000 head through Wednesday. That's 4,000 more than last week and 5,000 more than the same week a year ago. Talk about your feeder cattle market. Your real-time index late on Wednesday sitting at 133.80. It wasn't very long ago we were well into the 140s. That's based on an 800-pound steer, but 133.80 based on the average of the 800-pound steers, 7 to 899 pounds up through the middle 12 states. That's down $2.52 from just the previous day, the end of the previous day. I tell you what, they are tanking this feeder cattle market. Look at your big high volume sales on Wednesday. OKC West, El Reno, Oklahoma, 6,900 head there. Look at these trends in El Reno. Feeder steers, $8 to $10 lower than just last week. Feeder heifers, $4 to $8 lower. Steer calves, $1 to $6 lower. Heifer calves, $3 to $8 lower. And like I said, they made mention on the market report that short weaned calves had little to no interest. And you look at the quotes on there on your unweaned types, especially in your 6-weight category where you get those big fleshy balling calves there. Some of them $20 back and more of just what your typical weaned calves were on the average. That is a ton, guys. And if that doesn't behoove you to get in there and get those calves weaned and get them some shots, I don't know what would. Winter livestock, Dodge City, Kansas, 3,900 head there. Feeder steers, $4 to $7 lower. Spots as much as $10 lower. Feeder heifers, $2 to $5 lower. Calves range from steady to $8 lower, with the biggest losses on your heifer calves, of course. But let's look at some of your big quotes, and it's hard to find impressive quotes, guys. This is nationwide, all over, and I don't care how big of a bunch you get or how good the reputation is, the quotes just don't look that impressive right now. Now, maybe after we get used to this lower market, we'll start to see some impressive quotes, but it's really hard to get an eyebrow raised on any of these sales that we see here in the middle of the week. But a big string of cattle way out west, Toppenish Livestock Commission, Toppenish, Washington, 322 head in one whack. 654-pound steers bring 138.85. Parsons Livestock Auction, Parsons, Kansas, 72 head, 684-pound steer calves at 151.85. And a big calf quote from a sale barn that I was at just less than 2 weeks ago. Twin Falls Livestock Commission, Twin Falls, Idaho. Bruce and Jake Billington and the whole family there. Really good folks there. They sold 96 head, 425-pound steer calves at $180. And that's your feeder flash for Thursday.